The gentle hum of the Stargazer's engines filled the bridge as Captain Elena Reyes gazed out at the vast expanse of space before her. The Earth-made vessel, a marvel of human engineering, had been tasked with humanity's first deep space exploration mission beyond their solar system. As they approached the outer reaches of the Proxima Centauri system, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something extraordinary. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomalous reading," announced Lieutenant Kai Chen, his fingers dancing across the holographic display at his station. "It doesn't match any known celestial bodies in our database." Elena leaned forward, her dark eyes narrowing as she studied the readout. "Can you get a visual, Lieutenant?" Attempting to resolve the image now, "Captain," Kai replied, his voice tinged with excitement. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a shimmering object that seemed to defy description. It was roughly cylindrical, but its surface rippled and shifted like liquid metal, refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. "My God," whispered Dr. Amelia Okoye, the ship's xenobiologist. "It's artificial. We're not alone out here." As the crew of the Stargazer watched in awe, the alien object suddenly pulsed with energy. A beam of iridescent light shot forth, enveloping their ship in a cocoon of swirling colors. "Shields up," Elena barked, but it was too late. The energy field had already penetrated their defenses, and every system on the ship began to flicker and fail. "We're losing power across all decks," reported Chief Engineer Ravi Patel, his hands flying over his console as he attempted to reroute critical systems. "Whatever that beam is, it's draining our energy reserves at an alarming rate." Elena gritted her teeth, her mind racing through possible solutions. There were millions of kilometers from Earth, with no hope of immediate rescue. If they couldn't break free from the alien object's hold, they would be dead in space, quite literally. "Dr. Okoye, any theories on what we're dealing with here?" Elena asked, turning to the xenobiologist. Amelia's brow furrowed as she analyzed the data streaming across her screen. "It appears to be some kind of automated defense system, Captain. My best guess is that it's designed to neutralize potential threats by disabling their technology." "Well, it's doing a damn good job of it," Elena muttered. "Kai, can you get any kind of message out? A distress call, anything?" The communications officer shook his head, frustration evident in his voice. "Negative, Captain. All long-range communications are down. We're completely cut off." As the minutes ticked by, the situation aboard the Stargazer grew increasingly dire. Life support systems began to falter, and the temperature on the bridge dropped noticeably. Elena could see her breath forming small clouds in the air as she issued orders, trying to keep her crew focused and calm. "Ravi, what about the emergency power reserves?" she asked, a hint of desperation creeping into her voice. The engineer's response was grim. "They're being drained just as quickly as our main power, Captain. At this rate, we have less than an hour before we lose life support entirely." Elena closed her eyes for a moment, centering herself. When she opened them again, there was a fierce determination in her gaze. "All right, people, we didn't come this far to give up now. We're going to find a way out of this, and we're going to do it together. Amelia, I need you to focus on deciphering the nature of that energy beam. Kai, work with Ravi to see if we can modify our shields to resist its effects. I'll coordinate with the rest of the crew to conserve what power we have left." As the team sprang into action, Elena couldn't help but marvel at their resilience. Despite the overwhelming odds and the terrifying nature of their situation, each member of her crew tackled their tasks with unwavering focus and determination. It was a testament to the human spirit, she thought, the ability to face the unknown with courage and ingenuity. Hours passed, and the situation grew increasingly desperate. The air on the bridge had become thin and frigid, and Elena could see the strain on her crew's faces as they fought against exhaustion and fear. Suddenly, Amelia's voice cut through the tense silence. "Captain, I think I found something. The energy beam, it's not just draining our power, it's scanning us. Analyzing our technology, Our biology, everything. Elena moved to the xenobiologist's station, her interest piqued. What are you saying, Doctor? I think this isn't just a defense system, Amelia explained, her eyes alight with realization. It's a test. A way for whoever created it to evaluate potential first contact species. A glimmer of hope sparked in Elena's chest. And if it's a test, there must be a way to pass it. Kai, can you isolate the data patterns in the beam? The lieutenant nodded, his fingers flying over his console. Already on it, Captain. It's complex, but I think I can decipher the base algorithm. As Kai worked, Ravi's voice came over the comm system, strained but excited. Captain, I have an idea. If we can't stop the beam from draining our power, maybe we can use that to our advantage. What if we deliberately overload our main reactor? Elena's eyebrows shot up. You want to cause a feedback loop in the beam? Exactly, Ravi confirmed. If we time it right, we might be able to disrupt the energy field long enough to break free. It was a risky plan, but they were running out of options. Elena made her decision. Do it, Ravi. Kai, as soon as that field drops, I want you to transmit everything we've learned about their scanning process. If this is a test, let's show them we've figured it out. The next few minutes were a flurry of activity as the crew prepared for their desperate gambit. Elena felt the ship shudder as Ravi initiated the reactor overload. The lights on the bridge flickered wildly, and for a heart-stopping moment, she feared they had miscalculated. Then, with a sudden burst of energy, the iridescent field surrounding the stargazer dissolved. Kai's hands were a blur as he transmitted their findings, while Ravi worked feverishly to stabilize their systems. For several tense seconds, nothing happened. The alien object hung silently in space, its surface still rippling like liquid metal. Then, without warning, it began to change. The cylindrical shape morphed and expanded, revealing intricate structures and glowing conduits of energy. Captain, Kai called out, his voice filled with wonder. We're receiving a transmission. It's a first contact protocol. Elena felt a surge of emotion, relief, excitement, and a profound sense of awe. They had done it. Humanity had faced its first extraterrestrial challenge and emerged victorious through sheer determination and ingenuity. As the alien transmission began to resolve into recognizable patterns on their screens, Elena addressed her crew, her voice filled with pride. Well done, all of you. We came here to make history, and that's exactly what we've done. Now, let's introduce ourselves to our new neighbors. The bridge erupted in cheers and applause, the earlier fear and desperation replaced by a palpable sense of triumph and anticipation. As Elena prepared to respond to the alien transmission, she knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had proven itself worthy of joining the galactic community, but the real challenges and opportunities lay ahead. With a deep breath, Captain Elena Reyes, representative of Earth and the human race, began to compose humanity's first official message to an alien civilization. The stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, bearing witness to this historic moment, the dawn of a new era for mankind. The iridescent glow of the alien vessel bathed the bridge of the stargazer in an otherworldly light. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the center of a flurry of activity, her crew working tirelessly to establish a stable communication link with their newfound alien contacts. Lieutenant Chen, status report on the translation matrix, Elena called out, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Kai's fingers danced across his console, his brow furrowed in concentration. The AI is processing the alien language patterns now, Captain. It's unlike anything we've ever encountered, but the system is adapting. We should have a rudimentary translation in a few minutes. Dr. Amelia Okoye leaned over Kai's shoulder, her eyes wide with fascination. The complexity of their communication is astounding. It's not just language. There are layers of mathematical and scientific concepts woven into every transmission. Elena nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Well, they certainly know how to make a first impression. Ravi, how are our systems holding up? Chief Engineer Ravi Patel's voice crackled over the comm. We're stable for now, Captain, but that energy drain did a number on our power grid. We're operating at about 60% capacity, and some of the more delicate systems are still offline. Understood. Prioritize life support and communications. We need to be ready for whatever comes next, Elena replied, her mind already racing through potential scenarios. Suddenly, Kai's console lit up with a burst of activity. Captain, we're receiving a new transmission. The translation matrix is online, patching it through now. The bridge speakers crackled to life, filling the air with a melodious, multi-toned voice that seemed to resonate on multiple frequencies simultaneously. The A's translation followed, slightly delayed but clear. Greetings, explorers of Earth. You have passed the first trial and proven your species' resourcefulness. We are the Zorans, guardians of this sector of the galaxy. Your ingenuity in overcoming our defense system is commendable, but greater challenges lie ahead. Are you prepared to face them? Elena exchanged glances with her senior staff, seeing her own mix of excitement and apprehension mirrored in their eyes. She took a deep breath and stepped forward to respond. This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth vessel Stargazer. We are honored to make your acquaintance, Zorans. Humanity has long dreamed of this moment, first contact with an advanced alien civilization. We are prepared to face any challenge in the spirit of peaceful exploration and the exchange of knowledge. There was a pause, and for a moment, Elena feared they had somehow offended their alien hosts. Then, the Zoran voice returned, this time with a hint of what could only be described as amusement. Your enthusiasm is noted, Captain Reyes. Very well. We shall present you with 3 trials, each designed to test different aspects of your species' capabilities. Success will grant you access to the Galactic Council and the knowledge of 1,000 worlds. Failure, well, let us hope it does not come to that. As the transmission ended, the alien vessel began to shimmer and shift once more. It stretched and morphed, transforming into a massive, labyrinthine structure that dwarfed the Stargazer. My God, Amelia breathed, her scientific curiosity overriding her trepidation. It's some kind of space station, or perhaps a living ship. The technology required to manipulate matter on this scale is beyond anything we've ever theorized. Elena squared her shoulders, her voice firm as she addressed her crew. All right, people, this is what we came out here for. Humanity's first extraterrestrial challenge, and we're going to ace it. Kai, maintain an open channel with the Zorans. Amelia, I want you analyzing every bit of data we can gather about their technology and biology. Ravi, we're going to need every system at peak performance. As the crew sprang into action, the Zoran voice returned, outlining the first trial. Your initial challenge is one of adaptation. We have created an environment within our station that is inimical to your biology. You must find a way to survive and thrive within it, using only the resources available to you. You have 1 Earth hour to prepare before we transport a team aboard. Elena's mind raced, considering the implications. Amelia, what kind of environment could they have created? The xenobiologist shook her head, her expression a mix of concern and fascination. It could be almost anything, Captain. Extreme temperatures, toxic atmosphere, crushing gravity, or something we've never even considered. We'll need to prepare for every possibility. Then that's exactly what we'll do, Elena declared. Ravi, I need you to work with Amelia to modify our environmental suits. Make them as adaptable as possible. We need to be ready for anything. As Ravi and Amelia hurried off to begin their work, Elena turned to Kai. Lieutenant, I want you to compile every scrap of data we have on the Zorans and their technology. If we're going into their environment, we need to understand how they think, how they build. The next hour was a whirlwind of activity. The crew of the Stargazer worked with a feverish intensity, pushing the boundaries of their technology and their own capabilities. Ravi and Amelia emerged from the lab with a set of sleek, silvery suits that seemed to shimmer and shift in the light. We've incorporated a nanofiber mesh that can adapt to various environmental pressures, Ravi explained, his voice filled with pride. The suits can also regulate internal temperature across an extreme range and filter out a wide spectrum of potentially toxic elements. Amelia chimed in, her eyes gleaming with excitement. We've also integrated a rudimentary biomimicry system. Based on our limited data of Zoran biology, the suits should be able to emulate some of their natural defenses against their environment. Elena nodded approvingly. Excellent work, both of you. Now, we need to select our away team. I'll be leading. Captain, Kai interrupted, his voice urgent. I've been analyzing the Zoran transmissions, and I think I've found something. There's a recurring pattern in their communication, a kind of musical undertone. I think it might be significant. Elena raised an eyebrow. How so, Lieutenant? Kay's fingers flew over his console, bringing up a complex series of waveforms. It's subtle, but it's there in every transmission. I think it might be a form of communication in itself, or maybe a key to understanding their technology. A spark of inspiration flashed in Elena's eyes. Could we incorporate that pattern into our suits somehow? As a kind of harmonic resonance? Ravi's face lit up with understanding. Like a tuning fork. If we can match the frequency of their technology, it might help us interface with their systems, or even protect us from harmful effects. Do it, Elena ordered. We've got less than 10 minutes before transport. Make it happen. As Ravi and Kai worked feverishly to integrate the harmonic pattern into the suits, Elena selected her away team. Herself, Amelia for her xenobiological expertise, and Ravi for his engineering skills. They donned the modified suits, the material clinging to their bodies like a second skin. Remember, Elena addressed her team, her voice filled with determination. We're not just representing the Stargazer here. We're representing all of humanity. Whatever the Zorans throw at us, we'll face it with courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable human spirit. Just as she finished speaking, a shimmering field of energy enveloped the three of them. Elena felt a momentary sensation of weightlessness, followed by a disorienting blur of colors and sounds. When her vision cleared, she found herself standing in an alien landscape that defied comprehension. The environment around them seemed to be in a constant state of flux. The ground beneath their feet wriggled like water, while the air shimmered with particles that glowed and faded in mesmerizing patterns. Strange, crystalline structures rose and fell in the distance, their shapes morphing and intertwining in impossible ways. Incredible, Amelia breathed, her scientific curiosity overriding her initial shock. It's as if the entire environment is in a state of quantum flux. The laws of physics as we understand them don't seem to fully apply here. Ravi nodded, his engineer's mind already racing with possibilities. The harmonic resonance in our suits is holding steady. I think it's helping us maintain our molecular cohesion in this, whatever this is. Elena took a cautious step forward, marveling at how the ground seemed to both support her weight and flow around her foot simultaneously. All right, team. Our mission is to survive and thrive in this environment. Let's start by gathering data and see if we can. Her words were cut off by a sudden tremor that shook the entire landscape. The crystalline structures in the distance began to glow with an intense, pulsating light. Elena felt a pressure building in her mind, as if something vast and alien was trying to communicate directly with her consciousness. Captain, Amelia called out, her voice strained. I'm picking up massive energy readings. Something's happening. As the tremors intensified, Elena made a split-second decision. Ravi, can you amplify the harmonic resonance in our suits? If this place operates on some kind of quantum harmony, maybe we can synchronize with it. Ravi's fingers flew over the controls on his suit's forearm. It's risky, Captain. We don't know how our bodies will react to. Do it, Elena commanded, gritting her teeth against the growing pressure in her skull. With a nod, Ravi activated the amplification. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a wave crashing over them, the alien environment surged with energy. Elena gasped as her perception suddenly expanded. She could feel the quantum fluctuations around her, could sense the intricate dance of particles and waves that made up this impossible place. And more than that, she could understand it. It's a test, she'd breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. The whole environment, it's a representation of the fundamental forces of the universe. They want to see if we can comprehend it, adapt to it. Amelia and Ravi stared at her in amazement, their own enhanced perceptions allowing them to grasp what she was saying. With newfound confidence, Elena began to move through the shifting landscape, her movements in perfect harmony with the ebb and flow of the quantum field around her. "Follow my lead," she called to her team. "Don't fight against it. Become part of it. This is the key to thriving here." As the three humans learned to navigate and manipulate the alien environment, they felt a sense of exhilaration unlike anything they had ever experienced. They were touching the very fabric of the universe, dancing with the fundamental forces that shaped reality itself. Hours seemed to pass in the blink of an eye, and yet no time seemed to pass at all. When the shimmering field of energy finally enveloped them once more, transporting them back to the Stargazer, Elena felt a momentary pang of loss at leaving that wondrous place behind. As they materialized on the bridge of their ship, they were met with the astonished faces of their crewmates. Before anyone could speak, the melodious voice of the Zorans filled the air once more. "Congratulations, humans. You have passed the first trial with a creativity and adaptability that surpassed our expectations. Rest and prepare yourselves. The second trial awaits, and it will challenge not just your minds, but the very essence of what makes you human." As the transmission ended, Elena looked at her team, seeing her own mix of exhaustion and exhilaration mirrored in their eyes. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, their understanding of the universe forever changed. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Elena knew that the crew of the Stargazer and humanity itself was ready to face them. With ingenuity, courage, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge, they would prove themselves worthy of joining the galactic community. The adventure had only just begun. Prepare yourselves, humans. The true test begins. Elena's eyes snapped open. "Kai, did you pick up any transmissions just now?" The lieutenant shook his head, looking puzzled. "Nothing, Captain. Why?" Before Elena could respond, the ship shuddered violently. Red alert klaxons blared as the main view screen flickered to life, showing a sight that made everyone on the bridge gasp in awe and terror. The space around the Stargazer was transforming, reality itself seeming to fold and unfold like an origami creation. Stars stretched into impossible shapes, cosmic dust coalesced into fractals that hurt the eye to look upon. "Report," Elena barked, gripping her command chair as the ship rocked again. "Captain, we're everywhere and nowhere," the navigation officer stammered, his hands flying over his console. "Our position in space-time is fluctuating wildly. I can't get a fix on our location." Amelia's voice cut through the chaos, filled with sudden understanding. "It's a phase shift. The Zorans are pushing us out of normal space-time. We're entering some kind of interdimensional nexus." As if in response to her words, a massive structure began to take shape before them. It resembled an enormous, multidimensional labyrinth, its pathways shifting and changing even as they watched. The melodic voice of the Zorans filled the bridge once more, but this time, it seemed to come from within their own minds. "Welcome, brave explorers, to the crucible of consciousness. Here, you will face the ultimate trial, a journey through the very fabric of reality itself. Navigate the labyrinth, face your deepest fears and greatest hopes, and prove that humanity is ready to transcend the limitations of your physical existence. Each of you must enter alone, for this is a test of individual will and collective harmony. But know this, only by working together, by sharing your experiences across the boundaries of space and time, will you have a chance to succeed. Captain Elena Delacroix, you and your crew have shown great promise. Now, show us the true depths of human potential. Enter the crucible and let your journey of transformation begin." As the voice faded, Elena looked around at her crew. She saw fear in their eyes, yes, but also determination, curiosity, and the unquenchable human spirit that had brought them to the stars. "Well," she said, a hint of a smile on her face despite the gravity of the situation, "it seems the Zorans are offering us a grand tour of the multiverse. Let's not keep them waiting." As Elena's consciousness expanded, she found herself in a realm beyond imagination. Colors she had never seen before danced across her vision, and she could feel the vibrations of quantum strings resonating through her very being. She was everywhere and nowhere, experiencing multiple realities simultaneously. In one reality, she saw herself as a child, gazing up at the stars with wonder. In another, she was an old woman, looking back on a life filled with incredible adventures. And in yet another, she was a being of pure energy, free from the constraints of physical form. "Focus, Helena," she told herself, her thoughts echoing across dimensions. There must be a way to navigate this. As if in response to her thoughts, a path began to form before her. It was made of light and shadow, twisting through the fabric of reality itself. Elena took a deep breath, or what passed for breathing in this state, and began to move forward. Meanwhile, across the dimensional divide, the rest of the crew was facing their own trials. Dr. Amelia found herself in a vast library, its shelves stretching infinitely in all directions. Each book contained knowledge from different universes, different timelines. As she reached for one, she felt her mind expanding, absorbing information at an incredible rate. "This is incredible," she marveled. "But how do I find what we need?" Ravi, the engineer, was surrounded by machinery beyond his wildest dreams. Devices that could manipulate gravity, harness the power of stars, and even alter the flow of time itself. His fingers itched to take them apart, to understand their workings. "If I could just figure out how these work," he muttered, "we could revolutionize our technology back home." Kai, the communications officer, floated in a sea of sound. Every frequency in the universe surrounded him, from the low rumble of black holes colliding to the high-pitched whisper of subatomic particles. He strained to make sense of the cacophony, searching for a pattern. "There's a message here," he said to himself. "I just need to find the right frequency." As each crew member grappled with their individual challenges, they began to feel a subtle connection forming between them. It was as if their thoughts were intertwining across the dimensional barriers, sharing experiences and insights. Elena, sensing this connection, called out with her mind, "Everyone, can you hear me? We need to work together. Share what you're seeing, what you're learning. It's the only way we'll make it through this." Slowly, tentatively, the crew began to share their experiences. Amelia's newfound knowledge helped Ravi understand the advanced technologies surrounding him. Kai's ability to discern patterns in the cosmic frequencies guided Elena's path through the multidimensional maze. And Elena's determination and leadership kept them all focused on their goal. As they worked together, the nature of the trial became clear. The Zorans weren't just testing their ability to navigate strange environments or understand advanced concepts. They were testing humanity's capacity for growth, for transcending their physical limitations, and working in harmony with the universe itself. Hours or eons passed. Time had no meaning in this place. The crew faced challenges that pushed them to their limits and beyond. They experienced the birth and death of stars, witnessed the evolution of countless species, and grappled with questions of existence that philosophers had pondered for millennia. Through it all, they held onto their humanity, their curiosity, their compassion, their ability to adapt and overcome. These were the traits that guided them through the crucible. Finally, as the crew's collective consciousness reached a new level of understanding, the labyrinth began to shift around them. The myriad paths converged, leading them back to a single point of light. As they approached it, they felt their individual selves returning, their consciousness coalescing back into their physical forms. With a flash of light and a sensation of rapid movement, they found themselves back on the bridge of the Stargazer. But they were not the same people who had entered the crucible. Each of them now carried within them a spark of the cosmic awareness they had experienced, a deeper understanding of the universe and their place in it. As they looked at each other, words seemed inadequate to express what they had been through. But they didn't need words. The bond forged between them in the crucible remained, a silent understanding that they had been fundamentally changed by their experience. Before they could begin to process what had happened, the melodic voice of the Zorans filled the bridge once more. "Congratulations, humans. You have surpassed our expectations and proven yourselves worthy of joining the galactic community. But your journey is far from over. The knowledge and abilities you have gained come with great responsibility. How will you use them? And are you prepared for the challenges that lie ahead?" As the voice faded, Captain Elena looked at her crew. Despite their fatigue, their eyes shone with a new light, the light of beings who had touched the infinite and returned, forever changed. "Well," Elena said, a smile playing on her lips, "it seems we've passed the test. But something tells me the real adventure is just beginning." As the Stargazer hung in space, its crew forever altered by their experience in the crucible of consciousness, the vast expanse of the universe beckoned. New horizons, new challenges, and new wonders awaited them. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and nothing would ever be the same again.